From Denmark, we are going to another Nordic market. We're going to Sweden, my home country. And to give the industry's perspective from Sweden today, we have found Pontus Lindwall. And Pontus is the CEO of Betsson, a well-known gambling company from Sweden. And if you are ready, Pontus, I think you are. There's the microphone. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good to see you all here in Copenhagen and discuss the Nordic landscape. I'm Pontus Lindwall. I've been working with gaming all my life, first land-based gaming in the 90s, and then I started NetEnt 1996, and I've been working with internet gaming ever since. So I know quite a bit about the topic. And we're here today to discuss the Nordic regulatory landscape. 5 markets, 1 direction of travel, and I will present the view from the operator side, because we are a very important part of this ecosystem that we discuss all the time, being the players, the regulators, the society, suppliers, and all of that. Let's see if this works. It does. So we have 5 Nordics markets. They are all in motion in one way or the other. Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland. And this is what I'm going to go through here today, quickly. So I think it's quite important what it says over here. Every Nordic gaming market has the same purpose, to keep play inside a safe license market. But they have chosen very different roads to reach this situation, where, let's say, Denmark is one end of the spectrum and maybe Norway the other one end of the spectrum. And then let's see where Finland ends up and Sweden somewhere in between. So Denmark, licensed since 2012. We have some new things coming up, which we are fearing a bit, and of course eager to learn more about what's going to happen. It's Gambling Package 1. This is what you were talking about just recently. And then Package 2, maybe next year. What's going to happen there, we will see. It means to the market what it aims for, to have safer market for the young players and fewer promotional channels and less marketing flexibility. But still, Betsson, our view down here, because this is what I'm here to say, the view of the operator, is that Denmark proves the point. Balance, robust safeguards with a viable offering and channelization stays high. So we think it was a very good process when the Danish legislation was coming, because it was interaction between the operators and the lawmaker. Thank you for that. And still we have a good communication here. And we think that Denmark has quite a balanced set of regulations with a, I would say, functional market, even though we have to admit, we are in a business where there is harm. There is like 2% of the people that goes into some kind of problem with their gambling at some point, and they can go in and out of that problem. We have to admit that and reflect that. And we can't say to ourselves that that figure has to go to 0, because it will never happen. It has never happened historically. We have to say that we accept that there is a figure, but we need to address that figure and those people and make it possible for us to reach those people. And we can only do that when they are in the regulated system. That's our view. Let's see if this one. Yeah, Sweden. We opened up 1st of January 2019. Quite a balanced regulation. Then, of course, regulation is hard to read. We have received some fines which we think were not justified. They have cranked up the tax a bit. That's not good, because everything you change to the worse, if it's tax, if it's ways of, you know, being able to market, which I believe is one of the important things you get as a regulated company. That is where it differs from the unregulated part. But everything you change a bit here, a bit there, pushes players to the unlicensed part of the industry. But Sweden is quite a functional market, but we have a very high leakage out of the market. I think official figures are some 70% is inside the regulated market, and that is, of course, a big failure for the regulator. I think the actual figure may be higher because, as we saw for Denmark just recently, the high spending players, they are the ones that turn outside of the regulated markets. And these are the people that we would really, really need to keep inside the market. The social players that puts a bet of 10 euros now during World Cup, they play with the regulated side for sure. So that distribution is very bad and harmful. Finland, there are people in the room that knows a lot more about this than I do, but it's on its way. We're going to have new regulation. We expect it to happen in the middle of next year, 1st of July, 2027. We hope that Finland has looked at Sweden and Denmark and not too much at Norway. And we are actually in more or less day-to-day communication now about the details of the Finnish regulations, which are not yet set. But this is the model done right, controlled liberalization. The opportunity for Finland is to launch competitive from day one and not repeat Sweden's drift. I don't know what was the problem with Sweden there really, but it's a monopoly in transition, and we will see shortly what will happen. Okay. Oops, it goes back. Oh. Maybe you can click back one step. Iceland, not the biggest country in the Nordics, but still a country which has kind of hidden away from the online gaming fact for a very long time. So I think it's fair to say that they have like 0% channelization because there are no regulated online business ongoing there. There are some Icelandic people in the room, someone who told me that regulation is now coming. There is no regulatory body yet, but it's happening. There are papers being written, so I believe that in 2 years' time, we may see something happen there. Okay, One Direction, 5 speeds. This is more or less a summary of what we said, but this part is very important. You know, the liberal licensing, high channelization, Norway state monopoly, significant offshore leakage. We have seen figures how much money is pouring out from Norway. Sweden, open licensing, 70% channelization or maybe less. I think a lot has to do with the spelpaus, which is the blocking system, which is way too rigid because people block themselves out and then they turn to the illegal sites because that's the only place that says, okay, you're welcome here. I open my door for you. And this is the players that shouldn't go to that door. So there needs to be some kind of softening of that part. Finland on its way from monopoly to licensing. Iceland largely unregulated and 0% channelization. So what is a good gaming regulation? If it's too loose, then you will have fraud, addiction risk, and players will be exposed. If you're too restrictive, which is, I would say, the most common thing that we see, then the players leave. Because why should they want to play if the offering is not interesting to them? And the channelization goes down, and then we have harm and a bad situation. So the important part for the regulator is to find this sweet spot where you can find a high channelization, and that means a competitive product, meaningful safeguards, and real enforcement. If we have that in place, we believe we have a good chance to get high channelization. So yeah, this is a summary of what it takes. Fair taxation, attractive product, of course, good mix, online casinos, sports. We speak about online casinos, and of course I mean, no one wants kids in the school to play online casinos. I have 6 kids, and they play all the time, and they play regulated, and they play unregulated, and I just watch that happen, and I learn. But they play in a controlled way, and we have to kind of, accept that playing a slot machine for 10 euros, it's a part of their interest to do that, and they know everything about new slot machines and how they work. So it's a very interesting thing to see these young kids doing that. Attractive product, player protection we need, limit self-exclusion. We have a lot of tools to do that at Betsson. We have to have workable advertising because we are regulated. We need to tell the public that we exist. Proportionate promotions, bonuses in some sort, one way or the other, and clear feasible rules. Yeah, this is what good regulations looks like. It has to be a cooperation between all these parties, operators, regulators, suppliers, banks and payments, and players, and public health. So this is the ecosystem that needs to kind of hook up and go hand in hand to make this happen. Yeah, I have a few slides about state aid and competitive neutrality. This is from a normal tobacco shop in Sweden, where we still have Svenska Spel, the former monopoly, and they, of course, market a lot the sports betting. So it's I can just conclude that it's not fair competition, in my view. Yeah, sometimes when things are moved too far by regulators, 3 minutes, I will make it. Then we have to leave the market because it's too tough. And the UK has cranked up the taxes. Let's see what we have here. It used to be quite a good market, but yeah, we have been forced to exit UK, and Germany, of course, they have made all possible mistakes in their regulation with a very bad product, too high taxes, and everything that can go wrong went wrong. And hence the market is more or less left to the unregulated players. It's a choice by the regulator. I don't understand that choice. Yeah, UK, you all know the tax raise that they have presented here, which makes it more or less very hard to stay in the markets. So yeah, Germany, to simplify, it's over restriction. So good regulation is good business for players, society, and operators alike. So yeah, channelization is the scoreboard. Without channelization, there is no good regulated market. And as a regulator, you have to ask yourself, in what other industry or regulation would you accept that you have a framework of rules, but it's only followed by 60 or 70%? You wouldn't accept that. You would go straight to the problem and say, we have to sort this. And I think that is where the gaming industry will have to go as well. So, done.
Thank you very much, Pontus. That was really insightful.